Batch Data Collector and Free Data Collector. Study session number 6. Insights into the concept of web page structure. In the last session, we completed the Inspector feature tour. This unit is an essential requirement for those who want to use the maximum potential offered by our advanced recipe editor. We will therefore need to analyze the hierarchical structure of a web page and discover the most effective methods to isolate the nodes of interest. At the end of the 1990s, when Netscape Communicator was still in use and Ameritech was the first real service provider in the United States, the quality of code used to write internet pages was rather poor. This time, perhaps before some of you were even born, was the slow age of dial-up modems and early experiments that mixed content and instructions for formatting web pages. In 1996, the first protocols to standardize web page code construction were born, thanks to the W3C consortium. It would take over a decade before they became commonplace. Sometime later, it was finally decided that the code and content of a web page should be separated. One reason for this was to allow access to content, even from devices unable to show what it looks like. A web page voice reader, commonly used by the visually impaired, is the clearest example that justifies this choice. Leaving aside several more technical aspects, the need to establish the following rules was agreed upon. The structure of a web page is hierarchical. The first element is the root. All other elements are child nodes. Here, you can see a representation of the hierarchy levels of a simple web page. The mouse expands branches and shows additional child elements. Browsing through the HTML code from the highest to the lowest level, you'll notice that similar elements are often found at the same level of depth. Let's get back to the W3C protocol. HTML, a language you've probably heard of, represents the set of instructions interpreted by your browser to render web pages on the screen, and is joined by the equally well-known CSS. CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheets, is nothing more than a set of instructions that describe how HTML elements are displayed on screen, paper, or other media. Each node is generally identified within the HTML code by opening and closing tags, or sequences of special words enclosed between the greater than and less than symbols, also known as angle brackets. Tags have a name and certain attributes. For example, the tag that opens a table is table, while the one that closes it is /table. Two quite common tag attributes are IDs and classes. IDs are unique identifiers that lead back to one and only one element within an HTML path. There cannot be two tags with the same ID, unless of course there is an incorrect HTML code. Classes identify classes of elements or entities united by similar stylistic or logical properties. For example, all links on a web page that share the same color or appearance could belong to the same class. Now that we know the basics, you can probably guess that in the advanced area of Batch Data Collector and Free Data Collector, pointers to nodes can be composed in visual mode, as done so far with Inspector, in text string mode, in code string mode, or, thankfully, with powerful CSS selectors. Text string mode. In the presence of complex content delimited by recurring words, users can extract portions of text by indicating the words that precede and follow the section of interest. What is in the center will be selected and extracted. Code string mode. In the presence of complex content delimited by specific HTML codes, users can extract portions of text by indicating the codes that precede and follow the section of interest. What is in the center will again be selected and extracted. CSS selectors. CSS selectors are patterns used to select, as their name implies, code nodes to be styled. Their power lies in the ability to uniquely identify each object on the page, or filter objects with common properties. Thanks to CSS, we can refer to a table using its generic name, table, as a selector. This is potentially dangerous, however, should there be more than one table in the document. Users can also refer to the Style1 class tables with the table.style1 selector. Classes, as you may know, are always preceded by a dot or period. Just like before, tables united by the same class could be more than one. For maximum clarity, remember that a table is almost certainly unique if its ID is specified. IDs are always preceded with the hashtag character. Thus, the selector of a hypothetical table called table1 would be table #table1. In these video lessons, we will not delve much further into the syntax of selectors. But don't fret, we have a knowledge base available on our website. As we continue our journey, the recipes and programming languages in subsequent units will allow you to perfect the knowledge necessary to recognize, write, and enhance your CSS selectors.